Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals officially in the books. And what did we learn about these two teams? Anything new? Anything different? The outcome? Kind of more of the same. But there are a couple things I do want to discuss that are going to be important as this series is going to shift from OKC to Minnesota. And there's going to be some things that have to change if Minnesota is going to get this series a little bit closer, pull off a Game 3 win and put themselves in a position to win Game 4. All right, final score 118 to 103. Thunder with the edge. Basically, the way I kind of see it was the Thunder just dominated for a large majority of the game. Defensively, again, putting the pressure onto the Minnesota Timberwolves. What we've seen from the Timberwolves in their first two series, they played against teams that could not really put that much defensive pressure on them. The Lakers was a breeze. It was like a walk in the park. I think the second series, obviously, a little bit better defensive team. But in this particular series, it's like a night and day difference. They're playing a team stylistically that they haven't run across yet. So they're finding it very difficult to score at times. Right, the first quarter, the OKC Thunder went up 29-25. They basically replicated it the same way in the second quarter. So they went into the second half with a 8-point lead. And then things actually got even better for the Thunder in the third quarter. In the first half, the Thunder weren't hitting a high percentage of their shots, like especially their threes. They were under 20%. So they played much better in the third quarter, and their defense got even stronger in the third quarter, right? And I'm looking at the box score, and it actually shows all you got to do is look at the turnover ratio between these two teams. So the Thunder had 8 turnovers, and the Minnesota Timberwolves had 14. But in the first half, it was very close. There was a point, I think in the middle towards the end of the second maybe, I think Minnesota had 6 turnovers and the Thunder had 5. So that would mean that it finished like 8 turnovers to the Timberwolves to like 3 for the Thunder. And the biggest thing there, obviously, is going to be the fact that those turnovers turned into points for the Thunder. They had 16 fast break points, obviously off of those turnovers, and then making a huge difference in my opinion. Offensive glass, the edge actually went to the Timberwolves, but they didn't shoot that great, so it didn't really hurt the Thunder all that much. And, the rebounding battle was very, very close. I think that's what this really boiled down to. Points in the paint, the edge to the Thunder by, I think, like 14 points or something. But the lead got pretty big. I think at one point, the Thunder were up by 24 points in the fourth quarter. Or in the third quarter. In the third. It was late in the third, I believe. They scored 35 points in the third quarter. They came out very aggressive. All right, now we need to kind of look at some of these individual numbers to kind of see who showed up. For the Thunder, it was a combination of Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams supporting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after being named MVP. They came out inspired. Shai actually was fantastic, 38 points with 8 assists and 3 steals. Chet, I think, had the 22 points on 8 of 17 shooting. Not great from 3. Probably should take less of those. Haven't really been falling for him. But Jalen Williams, very aggressive. Took 20 shots, made 12. Couple of threes in there. But the rest of the team was kind of quiet. Not really all that much. But they played phenomenal defense as usual. For the Wolves, I don't know, man. Like Julius Randle has been really, really good. I'm not trying to downplay those the players on the Wolves, but they're just gonna need more. This particular game, he wasn't very good. All right, he kind of came back to earth. He's been super hot in the playoffs. He did have 5 assists and 5 rebounds, right? So it's not like he wasn't doing anything, but they needed him to score. 2 of 11 from the field, that won't get it done. 0 of 3 from 3. Jaden McDaniels actually surprised, had a really good game. 8 of 15 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. He was very good. Throwing 3 blocks. He's very good defensively. But you didn't get anything from Gobert and Conley. And Ant-Man had a kind of like a volume game where he took 26 shots after not taking, I think, 12 or 13 shots in the first game. But it just isn't enough. Naz Reid, 10. Nikhil Alexander-Walker gave you 17 off the bench, which is nice. But the Thunder were just too much. Now we got to start talking about Game 3. The first thing that the Wolves are going to have to do to get back into the series and get a win is going to be not turning over the ball. They are turning it over much too much. The Thunder will make you pay. They're like that Tim Misney guy. They will make you pay. So that's what they're doing. So they're going to have to clean this up. I think the goal is to get the turnovers down. And I think in terms of running your offense, I don't, maybe they took too many threes in the first game. I think tonight they took maybe 39. I think last game, they took 50. but looking for quality looks. It's going to be tough, right? Trying to get quality looks against the Thunder. Everything is challenged. Everything is closed out. Your opportunities for wide open threes are limited, but I do think with ball movement, you can beat any defense. At the very least, get a higher quality shot than you would if you were just trying to beat one defender. Because one thing I've noticed that the Thunder do really, really well is not only do they play good man-to-man defense, but their help defense is very timely, and it's really good. In terms of rotations, they're fast to get back to their assignments and kind of cover up that distance. They're just going to have to try to, get a little bit of space, right, through the ball movement and try to get some high-quality shots. And it's going to be tough. I think Mike Conley is going to have a tough series. I don't think there's going to be many opportunities for him that are going to be clean and easy looks. Rudy Gobert is going to have a tough time in the series. These guys know how to defend. He's not going to be just tipping the ball in, and, they're not going to be running rim rolls with him. They know how to defend that. This team is a very good defensive team. That's not going to happen. And every shot, Julius Randle is going to be challenged. And every shot, Anthony Edwards is going to have a lot of attention. Lou Dort's going to be on his ass, and that's just how the series is going to be. They're very tuned in defensively. They know what the Wolves can do. They're going to try to take away their strength, and they're going to try to make things uncomfortable. So for the Wolves, it's going to be ball movement. It's going to be trying to get that Thunder defense moving, create some kind of airspace so they can get some cleaner looks. And then, you just got to be better in turning over the ball. You just can't do it. This team will not give you chances. They are too good defensively. All right, let me know what you guys saw from the game. And let me know if you think the Wolves have a good chance to win Game 3 bouncing back in Minnesota. And as great as I think Anthony Edwards is and Julius Randle, two guys will not beat the OKC Thunder. You are going to need more from the supplemental pieces. So whether that is some combination of, Jaden McDaniels and, Naz Reid or something, you kind of need a Naz Reid game, in my opinion, right? Get the bigs involved and make things harder on the Thunder. Because the Thunder, if we're going to say they have a weakness to their defense, I mean, their perimeter is pretty crazy, how good they defend. Maybe possibly in the paint a little bit. Maybe you look there to get some action there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how they bounce back. I'm not sleeping on the Wolves. They can definitely win a game here in Game 3, but they're going to have to do it. If they go down 0-3, we got a problem. We know where this goes. So I don't want to say Game 3 is a must-win, but it kind of is, because you go down 0-3, you're done. So let's see what happens. Wolves got to bounce back. That game will be in a few days here. What do you see tonight? What do you see for adjustments that need to be made? And how do you think the Wolves bounce back? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe, check out some more of our videos. We'll see you guys soon on the next one.